The feeling is orangish. Why? We are talking about the Oranje, the Dutch football team. Once again, that team, a list of perennial underachievers, forever the bridesmaid of the World Cup, but they have won the Euro. Surprisingly, before the World Cup, they have won the Euro. But when was that? Well, you guys might not have even been born, or if you were born at that time, you're very young. It happened in 1988. 2-3 years before the collapse of the Berlin Wall and the fall of communism. That long. Yes, a different era altogether, folks. That's the plight of the Dutch football team. Today, Euro 2020, we are going to focus on the Netherlands. A team that does not set the world stage on fire. If I may rightfully put, Shane, 2018, along with Italy, they did not qualify for the World Cup. Now in Euro 2020, or I may say Euro 2021, they have a big chance. I am Siddharth Vishwanathan, editor-in-chief of sportslumo.com, and I'm joined by Shane Dyer, senior editor of sportslumo.com. So Shane, the Netherlands team, I mean, perennial underachievers, does that tag suit them very rightfully?
It does actually, especially when you consider the number of great players and great teams that this country has produced. I mean, let's not forget that the one man who influenced the world of football, especially modern football, more than anyone else, was Johan Cruyff, whose total football is something that a lot of managers have taken and adapted for their own. Most notably, any and every manager who has passed through Barcelona, the most notable of whom is, of course, Pep Guardiola. So they have always influenced the world of football, but despite that, they have really struggled at getting over the line at the final hurdle. I mean, they have made it to the finals of the World Cup on, I think, 3 separate occasions, if I remember correctly, and they have always fallen short every single time, which is quite frankly baffling when you look at not just the players, and even now, their team is by no stretch of the imagination a poor team. Yet, Euro 2016, World Cup 2018, there was no Oranje. And that was a big shock because the one thing which you are always guaranteed with watching the Dutch teams play is plenty of entertainment. They always know how to put on a show. Very easy on the eye, very attractive, plenty of goals always in those teams. But they have struggled since I think 2014, which was when Louis van Gaal was their manager, and he took them on what was a pretty surprising run to the knockout stages in the World Cup. But since then, they have absolutely struggled. Although the current team have actually done relatively well, heralded partly by the emergence of some new young talented players. But yeah, there's definitely going to be some pressure on them coming just because of their perennial history. And I think an apt comparison would be with the South African cricket team, as people who get so near and yet so far.
Yes, I mean, South Africa cricket team and the Netherlands football team, both of the same influence. The Afrikaans, the Dutch, same culture, same era of choking. But again, since they have not featured in a major event for close to 7 years now, there are a lot of players who have drifted out, drifted in. There are some youngsters. There are some very prominent Dutch guys. For example, their captain was a very important part of Liverpool, but now his contract has expired. So, does the team's fortune center around their captain, Wijnaldum?
To an extent, yes. I mean, Wijnaldum is a very different kind of midfielder to the likes of, say, Frankie de Jong, who's like de Jong is definitely more of a classic. That was a guy who had Barcelona written all over him. So when he signed for Barcelona, was a little surprised. But with Wijnaldum, there's definitely a lot of energy. There's a lot of industry. There's a lot of doing the simple things right, which at its heart, at its core, is what Dutch football is about: doing the basic and simple things correct. So he's definitely going to be a key part. But I mean, the good thing with this current Dutch side is that he's not the only player and definitely not the only star player in that side who can change the game on his own. They do have plenty of influence, although they will be missing a very important person at the heart of their defense.
Of course. Like, we had a very particular instance when Sergio Ramos was left out of the Spanish football side. But the injury to Virgil van Dijk, I mean, one of the Ballon d'Or contenders in that era of Messi, Ronaldo, even Lewandowski, if I have to put it for that matter. But how big a hole will that be, Virgil van Dijk's injury?
I mean, if you need to, I mean, I could wax lyrical about this for a long time, but I think anyone who wants to know how important Virgil van Dijk is when fully fit need only look at how badly Liverpool season collapsed. after he went out. I mean, yeah, there is a case to be made that Liverpool were nowhere near as solid this year for the most part, but they definitely look much shakier with no Van Dijk in the center. And I mean, it's going to be the same for the Netherlands because Van Dijk is not just the kind of player who you miss for his ability on the field. It's not just the fact that he's very good in the air, that he's very comfortable with the ball at his feet, and that he has a tactical reading of the game that is among the world's best. It's also the fact that he inspires teammates around him with his leadership, his ability to organize and direct that defense. These are intangibles, sure, but these are intangibles that are often the difference between a good team and a great team. Of a team who will make the semis or the finals and a team who will win that. So they will definitely miss him at the back. I mean, people would say that it's a bit of an exaggeration that Liverpool was missing Van Dijk so much. But the truth is that having that one defensive linchpin being part of your side makes a world of difference, especially when he's that good. And Netherlands will definitely be worse off without him. What's more, there is going to be a fair bit of pressure on Matthias de Ligt, who is a player of undoubted potential, but who has struggled a bit to stamp his authority on Juventus ever since his move from Ajax. So there's definitely going to be one to watch out for. How well does de Ligt do under pressure?
So, in the absence of Van Dijk, do you think the likes of De Jong, De Blind, De Ligt all have a much more important role to play in the Dutch team? Because I think after Van Dijk, the most important player is De Jong, considering his influence in Barcelona as well.
Absolutely. And I think, yes, definitely, I think there's going to be if not just a defensive void, but also a leadership void. And that's something that, everyone is going to have to step up to fill, because it's very hard for one player to replace someone like Van Dijk. He's a very rare commodity. The types of born leaders that they're not easy to replace. Having said that, yeah, I think definitely they do have players who could slot in there, who be able to do at least a good enough job, if not a job as good as Van Dijk. But yeah, they'll definitely have to be facing a few more questions, a few question marks, which they probably would not have been facing if they had a fit Van Dijk. Having said that, I am definitely looking forward to seeing how their midfielders, because the likes of De Jong and Van de Beek are very, very exciting players, and the type of players who most football purists enjoy watching when they're on.
Van Beek is Manchester United, right?
I think United fans will be forgiven for forgetting that he existed, because he's really struggled to make an impact in that squad. However, that being said, I think he's definite quality, and anyone who watched him for Ajax, especially during their run to the Champions League semis in 2019, will know just how good he was and how key he was to that side. So yeah, I think he's definitely struggled partly at United because of the presence of Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes, both of whom take up similar positions as to what he would be playing. But I think it also depends on, can they come up with a system that would fit all three of these players? Possibly. If not, I definitely expect him to be impacting whichever team he's playing for, whether it be United or any other team, because he does have the quality.
Final question regarding our favorite Oranje, Shane. Do they have a chance to at least make it to the playoffs this time? Or do you think this team is just too raw and the absence of Van Dijk is going to really hurt them hard?
But they do have plenty of talent, that's for sure. Now, the thing is, can they overcome that lack of major experience? I mean, me personally, I was a bit surprised that someone like Arjen Robben, who had announced his retirement recently, but then also said that he is now available for selection again, essentially coming out of retirement, was not considered. Why? Again, because it's a 26-man squad that you're allowed. And sometimes just having someone who's been there at the top of the game and won it all can make a world of difference to the squad around you. As it is, yes, I do agree that they do lack a little bit on the experience side. But if the talented players in the squad decide to step up, then there's plenty of there's enough there. And I think a word must go out to Memphis Depay, who has been pretty phenomenal. Again, another player who went to United and struggled. But ever since he moved to France and he moved to Olympique Lyon, he's been phenomenal. And in fact, his form for Lyon was so good that it now seems likely that he will join Barcelona on a free transfer this year. And yeah, so that's quite the turnaround. And Memphis was always seen as a player who could be a game changer. In fact, one of the reasons he came to United was because at that point Van Gaal had joined United, and Van Gaal had worked with him in the national team, so he knew him firsthand. He struggled at United, but again, he's shown in France that he is a top quality player. He will most likely be a Barcelona player sooner rather than later. And he'd definitely be one to watch out for, because that boy, when he's on form, can run most defenses in race. So definitely worth watching out for. And I think him up front will be key, because if he's in form, then that's half their attacking problem. So yes, it will depend a lot on these players.
Well, after the Azzurri, we welcome the Oranje back in the major international competition after such a long time. On the day, the Dutch can be phenomenal, but when they are bad, they are really bad. Thank you so much for joining us on the special broadcast of Euro 2020. I'm Siddharth Vishwanathan, and always I'm joined by Shane Dias. Click on the bell icon, tap on the subscribe button. More and more Euro anecdotes will be coming on your way. The tournament is just around the corner, folks. See you. Bye-bye. Stay safe.